It took almost a year, but the first of my 2018 Le Mans models is finally completely finished. It is a scale Lego model of the number 93 Porsche 911 RSR from Le Mans 2018. The scale is 1:20, and the model contains more than 770 parts. I have recently finished the building instructions for it, and as always, they are 100% free. You will find a link to the instructions in the description below. In this video, I will, apart from presenting the model by spinning it on this new turntable, present 5 interesting construction techniques that I have used in this model. I hope that the 5 advanced or interesting construction techniques will be a staple feature of this kind of presentation video. In this particular car, the number 93, it belongs to the American Porsche GT team that was racing at Le Mans, and it did not have a particularly good Le Mans in 2018. While the sister car, the number 92 Porsche, which I have right here, I just have to assemble it a bit. This one, the pink pig, oops. It's actually both won the race but also finished first in the qualifications. This car, on the other hand, it didn't go so well. In the qualifications, it was 2 seconds behind, and that is a long time in a single round of a racetrack. And during the race, it didn't go so well either. They did have some mechanical issues, which definitely took the victory away from them if they ever had a chance. But generally, I don't think, it didn't seem like they had the pace of the leading 2 Porsches. And I don't know why. They didn't tell us why these number 93 and number 94 cars simply weren't matching the pace of the number 91 and number 92. But if there's one thing that's for certain, it's not because of the driver lineup. This car, the number 93, was what I would call stacked. It's had 3 drivers, of course. First we have Nick Tandy. Tandy is a name that should sound familiar because he was one of the winners for the overall victory in 2015. Then we have Earl Bamber. He won it also in the same car in 2015 and again in 2017, where Tandy's car didn't finish. The third star in this car is Patrick Pilet, and he has been driving these RSRs since 2013, and even before he was also driving Porsches. So there was so much experience and really great drivers, but still, sometimes at Le Mans you are simply just not lucky. So back to the Lego model. It consists of, as I said, 771 parts, and the focus on the construction of this model has been 100% on the details of the exterior. That means I have tried my best to build and rebuild this car and refine it in every way possible in order to make the exterior look as good as I can do in this scale. It also means that it has absolutely no other feature. You can drive it a bit back and forth, but the steering doesn't work. You can't open the front, you can't open the doors, you can't even open to the flat 6-boxer engine. There's no interior, there's no underbody, there's nothing. It's just a display model, just as it should be. It's quite heavy though. 770 pieces, that gives you a lot of weight. And what that means is that I have had fun with the construction techniques, so let's move on to those and see what lies behind the details that you can see. We start with the fuel intake. The first version of this model had a 1x1 round tile representing the hood-mounted fuel intake, as you can see here. The real car has the intake at an angle. By being at an angle, it is easier for the pit crew to attach the fuel nozzle and thereby minimize the time that the car is in the pit. It would be unfair to ignore such a detail that Porsche has perfected and which is unique to this car in the GT field. The Lego model uses this. It has a wrench that is holding the 1x1 plate and the 1x1 round plates on top. This allows it to have an offset because the wrench holds the stud at an offset, which means that this angle is achievable in such a small space without leaving any gaps in the bodywork. That is why when you see it inside of the hood in the real car, it is completely flush. There's absolutely no space around the fuel intake, and it is angled just perfectly. The second detail is how 1x1 round plates have been used to add just a bit of curvature to the front fenders. So if you look at the front fender right here, you can see this part here is moved down just a bit compared to that one. The initial model had this kind of fender, so it was flat with the three slopes, and then it had the curve. By using a 1x1 plate right here, I allow the hinge to turn, and this gives just a bit more curvature, which again gives a much better look of this section of the car. In the roof of the car, I've added some length to the center section, and that is in order to better support the implied curvature of the windscreen. So this is the first time I've tried to use this kind of technique in a model like this, but I really like how it enhances this transition between the windscreen and to the roof. You can compare it to the earlier version. Let's get it into view, where I do not have this section that is moved forward in the middle, so it gives quite a lot of an additional gap, as you can see right there. I will of course update the number 92 car when I get to it, and then it will also have a nice roof like this. It is achieved by using some offset techniques, so you can see here that I have jumper plates and this fairly new 1x1 plate round with a hole in the middle, so that I can put tiles on top with this half plate offset. On the other end I have this, which helps finish the, it almost hits the half plate gap that I have here on the other side, and that's by using this snot technique over here. I want the stud in the middle because that is where I have this part of the antenna that is on top of the car. The rear lights of the current generation Porsche 911 have a very characteristic look with two thin strips of red surrounding a thin strip of transparent. The whole light assembly also wraps around the corner, and I've tried various solutions trying to highlight this kind of setup. So the attempts include using transparent bionicle claws like this, because you can see it has the two red strips here that would be highlighted, but the curvature is not at all correct. I've also tried using grills 1x2s like this, because then you get thin strips, but then you have 3 of them instead of 2, and it's a bit too tall. The real lights are very slim. Finally, I also tried this kind of setup with a sandwich. Again, it just became way too bulky, so if I have this kind of setup in a car this small, then it stands out as something that is way too big. The solution, for me at least, turned out to be using the 2x2 dishes, you can see them here, and combining them with 1x1 plates, because both the plates and the dishes have these highlighting rings around them. Now the problem is that while the dishes have the rings below, the plates have them above. So if you put them next to each other, you will have the rings being above and below next to each other. So the solution is, of course, to turn one of them around like this. And by putting them together like this-ish in the rear of the car, you get both the highlighted strips, and you get kind of the curvature. So of all the solutions I have found, I definitely like this one the best. Finally, we have the exhaust. It is made using the flex hose that I have cut to 19 millimeters. It also says so in the building instructions, in case you don't see all of this video. Using the binoculars here, I can get the flex hose to be placed very close to each other and within one plate of thickness. And that is exactly what I need, because the placement of the exhaust in the RSR that is used at Le Mans is right here in the middle, with a very small distance between them. You can see other versions of the RSR has the exhaust sticking out in the sides, kind of like this, which looks awesome, but not at Le Mans. And the other clever little detail here is that I have used plates or tiles on top here, but using a plate and tile in the middle in order to make just this little notch that goes up inside of the rear bumper in order to make the surrounding for the exhaust. It has taken me more than 9 months to bring the model and the building instructions to the level of quality that you see in this video. While most of this time has been spent on creating a new website for building instructions, almost 4 weeks have been spent on building, rebuilding and just improving the model. The roof detail alone that you could see in the detail section took me 2 days to design, and that was just the last round of updates. This, if you add all the numbers, means that I can roughly build 12 unique models per year. I now question myself if this is the right trade-off between quality and output. If I decrease the level of quality, then I should also be able to churn out such a Lego model each week. Please tell me in the comments below if you would like to see me change or make this trade-off between quality and the number of models, so that you will get many more videos of custom Lego models and not just reviews and what have you. And we are at the end of the video. Now it's time for me to say subscribe, like and whatever, but you know what? If you're watching this video, then chances are you're already a subscriber, you already hit the notification bell, you're already loving this kind of content. So instead I'll ask you to share. If you know someone, have a friend, or know somewhere that people are gathering with an interest for Porsche, cars, Le Mans, and scale models, then perhaps share it there. That would be really nice. I would really appreciate if you did that kind of thing for me. And until next time, I will try to finish the 94 car. I already started building it using the building instructions, and the difference between 93 and 94, apart from a busted suspension that takes you out of contention for Le Mans 2018, would be the white windscreens and white window streamer in the window. So it shouldn't be too difficult to build. I hope that video will be up soon. So, see you there.